Good day, my name is Dan Barrett, and I am past president of UNDE Local 625. Today I'm doing a brief presentation on unit cohesion. So I'm going to start off with just a basic overview of the principles of unit cohesion, and it really boils down to basic business principles. So we all understand that most businesses have a structure where you have some form of leadership, some form of finance, some form of operations, some form of communication. In the larger corporations, that particular structure is normally chief executive officer, chief operations officer, chief financial officer, chief communications officer, those kind of functions. And that sort of rolls fairly well into most of the business world, and even into the government sort of structure as well, and right down to your unit level. So in the unit cohesion thing, we also want to look at, besides what's coming from the component, what's also happening at the regional and area level. So regionally, Sharon D'Souza, for example, today is the 19th of December. She's put out a little sort of Christmas card or season's greeting, and a little candy cane for folks who were lucky enough to get one. That kind of initiative, we're trying to basically say, look, we have stuff coming up this year. Make sure you're participating in some of the activities like the 19th. On top of that, you've got within the Ontario region, you also have an Ontario Council. There's the two members there, Ryan Ward and Claudia Espinoza, and so these folks actually represent the Toronto region, the GTA, at the area council. So we kind of need to know what these folks are up to, and feed information to them through such structures as the Greater Toronto Area Council or some of the equity committees. So make sure that PSAC is actually properly providing the services that our local and our members need. So to that end, we have an action committee, and our folks there are working towards making sure that PSAC is properly plugged in. For the UNDE, Union National Defence Employees, at the last component convention, Brother John McClellan was elected, and he's as of 2014, right? And so he put out this message for the president. So welcome to the Union National Defence Employees. We are the fourth largest component of the Public Service Alliance of Canada, with over 19,000 members in public, private sector, and non-public funded employees. UNDE provides 6 essential services to its members. We work to ensure that our workplaces are safe. We represent members in grievances against management. We provide advice and representation on classification issues. We represent members at public service staff tribunal complaints, and we provide education to our members about their rights and the rules of the union. And we keep our members informed about our activities. Beyond the basic services that the UNDE provides, we are also a community built with members and run by members. Our mandate is dictated by the membership, and we carry out our mandate on behalf of the membership. I'm really excited to introduce you to our new website. We hope that our redesigned website will be an effective tool in allowing members to connect with each other and bring us closer to the core values of the union membership. The next coming year will be challenging, and our communications with our members will be the key to protecting jobs, keeping members informed in a timely manner, and remaining accountable to our membership. At the same time, holding the employer accountable when adverse decisions affect our members, their families, and the communities they live in. Please take the time to get to know your new UND website, and thank you for visiting. In solidarity, John McClellan, National President, Union National Defence Employees. So essentially, John's essentially saying, okay, look, priority for the year, communication, get it out there. This is sort of an election year sort of scenario, so you want to make sure that the next government that comes into play, has the public's interest at hand and works to ensure that good governance is actually in place, and that good government is essentially running effectively to serve the public's interest. So all those kind of good stuff. Part of our role as a union actually is to make sure that does happen. We're part of the checks and balance process, and it's incumbent on you to kind of know how to engage the union appropriately to make sure that your concerns are raised to management, and at the local level you've got that sort of stuff covered off. Okay, so again getting down to the local level area within UNDE at the last national convention, Sirs Desbian over there, he was elected as the regional vice president for Ontario, and one of the things he actually did is he indicated he was going to implement one of the resolutions that came out of our local, which was to more or less assign portfolios to some of the other elected officers. So within the component structure at the regional level, you have the regional vice president for Ontario, you have the deputy RVP, and then you have the first alternate and second alternate in case something happens. Like last session, basically we lost almost that whole group over the course of the 3 years. So, but in this particular case, what we're trying to do is assign certain portfolios. So, for example, our president, Carolyn Handley, has been assigned the portfolio for communication. As you saw earlier, John McClellan identified communication as one of the focal points for the year. So, those are the kind of initiatives that if you're looking at trying to implement and keep a steady course sort of thing for the union, a lot of the stuff is around that kind of area. So trying to do your part to get the word out and make sure people understand where some of the resources are on communication, orientation, being introduced to your representatives as new employees or employees that are new to the union. So essentially, when you look at the mandate unit cohesion stuff for the local, probably the easiest one, if you go to the actual local committee mandate records discussion, that particular page, it'll capsulize where we are right now, and this may change with Caroline's in the near future. So make sure you go check this out. But for example, the executive committee is scheduled to meet once every 2 months, so that tells you when they're supposed to be doing their thing officially. There's probably going to be, there may be another meeting in trying to set up the agenda and stuff. I know PSAC is recommending the locals meet every month, so we'll see what happens there. There may be one meeting that's outside of the regular hours, but we'll see what happens. And so every other month as required to address priority matters. The committee is chaired by the president, whose leadership creates the vision and mission of to be executed in accordance with the mandate from the membership. So the mandate that we got more or less from the membership at the AGM was to essentially continue on with the orientation sort of program, giving people the opportunity to meet the representatives and have the committees function in an effective manner, so that we can basically enhance not only how the unit or how the local operates, but also how the units themselves are operating effectively. So through consultation and making recommendations and that kind of stuff. So the Vice President addresses operational matters in the local and ensures that priority issues can be addressed in the absence of the president. The treasurer ensures that the best practices of financial transparency and accountability are pursued to enhance confidence in the value offered by the services provided by the local, and the secretary and communications officer ensure that members receive timely and useful information. So basically, you've got those 4 keys that I spoke about earlier. Basically, you've got their roles and responsibilities that are going to be set up, and depending on what the capabilities of availability of people to do some of these functions, that's going to determine essentially how stuff gets done. And with some of the other committees that are also on this page, you can get a better feel for exactly what they do, how they do it, and with more transparency, you have more of a chance that people are going to actually be able to effectively participate, and that's one of the benchmarks for proper unit cohesion, so that we're all basically going on the same page. We get our mandate at the AGM, and essentially this year we have a new president, Caroline Handley, and so our first meeting again is of the executive is going to be today, and looking forward to sharing with you folks our new communication strategy and what our long-term goals are for the next 3 years or so. And if you have any concerns or whatever, make sure you advise the executive of what's going on there. Your stewards, plug into your health and safety folks, and thanks. And once again, happy holidays for those folks who are seeing us today and or over the next couple of days. And hope you guys have a good 2015.